Good morning, Otter class, and today is Wednesday, the 9th of December, and in English, our LO is to innovate a defeating the monster story based on the cobbler and the dragon. First of all, we're going to start off having a think about what is in our Every Time I Write toolkit. So these are those non-negotiables that we should be thinking of. Pause me here and see if you can think of some ideas before I tell you some of the things you should be including. So hopefully you've come up with something like capital letters and full stops. You should be trying to join your handwriting, organising your writing in paragraphs, okay, and you should be using conjunctions to join some sentences, lots of different punctuation including speech, and we want some really good adjectives and adverbs to describe what's happening in our story. In our Defeating the Monster toolkit, we have something specific that we just use for this type of story. Okay, and this is what we've been practicing in English. Pause me here and have a think about what those things are. What have we spent lessons doing in English? So hopefully you remember we're talking about show, not tell. Don't tell me that the cobbler is sad or anxious or happy. What does he look like? Has he got a smile on his face? Has he a shiver gone up his spine? Is he to show me that he's nervous, for example? As well as this, we want those double ly adverbs at the start of sentences. So in Cobbler of Krakow, we had pompously and rudely the king looked at Crack with no sword, or whatever it was. Okay, we've also got two pair sentences. So that was sated and happy, warm and dry, two lots of pairs. And also those three ed sentences: frightened, terrified, exhausted, princes came to defeat Smock. And as well as this, we've practiced speech in three different ways, so they all need inverted commas. Okay, they all need to tell us who is speaking, but we've practiced saying who is doing the talking at the beginning, the middle, and the end of the speech. So we had I'll defeat the monster, said Crack, or you could have had Crack announced, I will defeat the monster. That's moving the speech around, moving that reporting clause. As well as that, we've been practicing noun, which, where, who. So Crack, comma, who was very brave, comma, attacked the dragon. Okay, or maidens, comma, who were in plentiful supply, comma, were his next sacrifice. Now we're going to have a think about thinking of our own story. So I have given us some examples. In a moment, I'm going to ask you to pause me and have a think about what your story is going to be about. The first thing that you need to think about is who could the main character be. So in our model text, we had the cobbler, and I've just thought I could have a blacksmith instead. It's completely up to you who your main character could be. Then you need to think about what monster could need defeating. In our story, we had a dragon. I've got a troll. Again, it could be anything that you want. Just make sure it's not overly complicated and it'll still fit into that defeating the monster tale. I cannot have a monster that is so big and so strong that he cannot be defeated, as you won't achieve the LO. You won't write a defeating monster tale. Next up, you've got to think about how will your monster be defeated. So in our story, Smock ate that meal that he would never forget and exploded. In my story, my blacksmith is going to make a magic sword which will eventually kill the troll. Okay, and then have a think about what could their reward be. So in the Cobbler of Krakow, it was the princess's hand in marriage. In my story, I'm going down the money route and they're going to win £10,000. But again, it could be anything you like. If you are struggling for ideas, you can magpie some of these, and you can magpie a bit from our model text, but I don't want you just to copy me for every single idea we've got. Pause me here whilst you think about what you would like for each box, and then when you're ready, press play and we'll move on to the planning stage. Okay then, hopefully you've thought of some ideas now for what you would like here, and I'm going to bring you over to our boxing up, our plan, which will be on the website, and it looks like this. Now we're going to be completing the innovate column, okay, because that's our LO today. But we've also got this column on the left, which is to help you remember what goes in each section of our defeating the monster tale. It tells us a generic what happens, so we introduce the monster and the monster starts causing problems. In the yellow, it links back to our defeating the monster toolkit. So those things that we're going to try to include in our story. I'm only going to plan the first couple of boxes with you, okay, depending on time, and then I'm going to leave you to finish the rest, okay? In this first box, I need to think of a two-pair sentence to describe the monster. My monster was a troll, okay, and if you forget, you can always go back to this slide to help you. My monster is a troll, and I need to think of a two-pair sentence. So in our shared right, we had sated and happy, warm and dry. Now I've got a troll, and I've decided that my troll is going to live in a swamp next to the Vistula River. Next to the Vistula River. Now this does link with my shared text, so you could magpie some of the ideas, but you can make up the place completely on your own. If my troll lives in a swamp, I'm going to have a bit of a grumpy troll, I've decided. He's not a very happy person. And because he's living in a swamp, he's probably not going to be warm and dry. So I'm going to have miserable and intimidating, comma. That's my one pair. Now I need my other comma. Let's have soggy and ugly. Hopefully you guys come up with better ideas than I do. Okay, and we'll need a comma after that as well. What's its name? Instead of having smoke, let's have something. I want it to still sound monstrous and evil. I'm not going to go for something like Fred or Bob. Okay, I want it to be something that would fit my troll. So I'm going to have Eagle. Okay. We now need we need two fronted adverbial sentences to describe what he's eating. So in our shared text, okay, we had how he ate all of the villagers, cats and dogs, and how satisfied he devoured the sheep and cows. I'm going to have the same, okay? So I'm going to have, we had greedily. What could I have instead of greedily? Okay, I've decided that instead of greedily, I'm going to have hungrily, comma, because it's a fronted adverbial. Igor ate the villagers. And I'm going to magpie that because I really like this plural apostrophe over here for possession. Igor ate the villagers. Oh, let's have, instead of cats and dogs, I'm going to have sons and daughters. Okay. I now need to think of another fronted adverbial sentence. Okay, so I could have sneakily Igor consumed or devoured all of the what could I have? All of the horses and cows. So still quite similar to our model text. Hopefully you might be able to move a bit away from our model text, but if you're stuck, always go back to the Cobbler of Krakow. And it says, what does the monster eat next? Okay, so he's eaten all of the villagers' sons and daughters, and he's eaten all of their horses and cows. I'm gonna be a bit boring here, and I'm gonna magpie the princess because actually it's a classic story. In fact, no, I'm not gonna have a princess. I'm gonna have a prince instead. So what does the monster eat? The prince. The prince. Yeah, lovely. If you would like, you can pause me here and then have a go at this first box on your own, and then you can press play and I'll go through the problem with you. Okay then, so hopefully you've planned your first box, and I'm going to go through the problem now, planning that with you before letting you finish off the rest of your plan. If at all you get stuck, maybe you don't know what some of these words mean, okay, and what you need to include, always go back to the Cobbler of Krakow because there are examples in there. So we'll have a 3ED sentence in our model text. Who is going to be fed to the monster? I've already said that in my previous plan, and it's going to be the prince. Emotion word sentence. What is offered as a reward? So this is desperate, comma, the king offered his daughter's hand in marriage. Okay, I'm going to have devastated. And instead of the king, I'm going to go for the queen. The queen offered, and going back to my idea over here, offered £10,000 as the reward. The queen offered £10,000 to anyone that could rid the city of this ferocious beast. In our model text, we had monstrous beast. Who came to try and defeat the monster? It was the blacksmith. I'm going to go that step further, and I'm going to describe that blacksmith. So instead of a poor and humble cobbler, I'm going to have a quiet and unassuming blacksmith. Okay, you could have a strong blacksmith, you could have a brave carpenter. It's completely up to you. Now we need a 3 ED sentence to describe a character. Oh, in fact, have I done that right? So it could be the blacksmith. Actually, it's not going to be the blacksmith. Too early. It was princes came and princes went. So instead, I'm going to have cobblers came and went. Okay, and I'm going to have a 3 ED sentence to describe them. So we had frightened, terrified, exhausted, and I'm going to have a think of what I could have instead. So I have chosen to go with shocked, surprised, terrified. Cobblers came to defeat the troll. Yours might be slightly different, and that's absolutely fine. Now we need some other sentence. So in our shared right, think back to our story map. It was some princes fled as soon as they saw the dragon. Others fought valiantly but failed. I'm going to magpie that one because I like that one, but you can change it. So some cobblers fled as soon as they saw the troll. Others fought valiantly. Could have bravely, but failed. Full stop. We're nearly finishing the problem. So now I need the hero's name. I'm going to have Smock. Smock the blacksmith. And I want an adverb and a description of 3. We had in our model text pompously and rudely. So I'm going to magpie rudely, comma. The king looked, oh no, I had the queen. The queen looked at Smock's dirty clothes, ripped trousers, and I'm going to have dirty face, and I'm going to have messy clothes instead. So rudely, the queen looked at Smock's messy clothes, ripped trousers, and dirty face. It says, what does the king say? But I've changed mine to the queen. And she's going to say something along the lines of, you'll never defeat the troll, sneered the queen. You're much too weak. Close speech marks. I'm going to have that name as an exclamation. And then the hero replies with something. So what does the hero say? It says, don't worry, replied Smock. I have a plan. Okay then, that is my first 2 boxes done. I will put this example on the website if you want to keep looking back to it. And you're going to have a go at doing your own and finishing those last 2 boxes as well. I need all of this plan finished because tomorrow we're going to start our shared write and putting it into paragraphs on the flip chart. Good luck, guys. If you have any questions, you can send me your boxing up and I can have a quick look at it. But just try your best. I don't mind if it's typed or handwritten, whichever you find easiest. And I will speak to you tomorrow. Bye.